Clayton, and today I will be reading you Techno Wars Book 1, Kyor the Lightning Crab, of a series that I have made myself, illustrated and wrote. And what inspired me to do a map was Beast Quest, a series by a really good author called Adam Blade, and in his books he has maps. Okay, so let's get into the story. So chapter 1 is called A Warning. Rumble! Kyle Wood awoke from the loud noise outside. He went to check if his cousins were up. He walked to their home and checked for them. "Hello," said Kyle as he banged on the door. No one answered. He banged again. No one answered. Then he saw marks of their sled. Must have left in a hurry, thought Kyle. His cousins were never in a rush to do stuff. He thought again. Then he started to walk home. It never was a long way home. He only had to cross a few turns and then BAM! He was there! Kyle picked an apricot from the tree and went inside. Bark, bark! Lime! Kyle owned an ice hound that he rescued 7 years ago. Lime was the only family he had left, apart from his cousins. "You must want some food," thought Kyle, before peeling a lime and handing it to her gently. She lapped it up gracefully. Then Kyle started to wonder what the noise he had heard earlier. Earthquake, maybe? Explosion? Then Lime started barking furiously. Bark, bark, barkity bark, bark! "What is it, girl?" Kyle asked. Then Lime nodded her head to the window. Kyle looked out. There was a massive avalanche heading straight towards them. Chapter 2, A Race Towards Life. Kyle ran towards the sled. He grabbed Lime and strapped her in. "Ready for a bumpy ride, girl?" asked Kyle. "Bark!" she said in agreement. "Then let's go!" The sled sped out of the garage at full speed. The avalanche was getting closer by the moment, and most of the houses in its path had already perished. Lime was yapping repeatedly. Then it hit him. What if he swerved out of the village just in time? Would that save his life? Then he looked back at his house, or the ruins of it anyway. But then he saw his chance. But he had to time this exactly right. There was a very sharp turn leading out of the village. He saw a chance and he took it. He swerved with all his might and made it. But the avalanche followed. How could he outrun this thing? But now he was out of the village and his plow had nearly broken off. What was he going to do? But now he had to avoid contact with a willow tree. The willow missed him, but the snow plow wasn't so lucky. Crack! Then he slowed down a lot. The plow was useless, broken off. Snow broke rapidly. Wind rushed through the trees and Kyle's ears. He was slowing down so much that he felt snow against his back. There was a low chance of escape. Then he was rushing towards a large pine tree. There was no escape. Just as he was about to be crushed by snow, he felt wind whiz around him. Then a dark abyss appeared before him. When it went, he was falling, and fast. Chapter 3, The Skull Waters. If the avalanche didn't kill him, he knew this fall would. Then he saw that he was dropping to a tile floor, or his death. "Aranti!" he heard someone shout. Then an orange blast of magic flew above his head. First thing he knew, he was paragliding towards the ground. "Yatso!" someone else yelled. Then a hang glider appeared over Lime's ears. "Yatso!" Here's a little picture. Him and Mime glided safely to the tile floor. Good evening, young hero. Hero? Me? I'm no hero. You are, said another voice. I am Lord Fig. Kyle tried not to laugh. We have seen your strategies in battle. We will armor you. Click! Then steel armor appeared over him. Then an elderly man stepped out of the shadows. I am Kroon, said the wizard-like character, and this is my apprentice, Millie. A teen girl teleported behind him. Whiz! And here is your weapon, said Lord Fig, handing him a shield. Some weapon, Kyle muttered. The Skull of Waters is in danger of freezing, said Kroon, and an evil mistress has sent 5 beasts, said Millie. What are they? Asked Kyle. You'll know when you get there. When Kyle woke up, he was lying in sand. This must be the Skull Waters, Kyle thought. And your thought is right, said a girl next to him. What? How did you know? How did she know that? Thought Kyle. Look, I'll tell you later. But now, look, she said, pointing to a giant crab. Chapter 4, Pincered. Then the crab came scuttling down, shooting eye lasers at them. Pew, pew, pew. Then one of the lasers hit his shield and bounced off. It hit an unlucky bird and froze it. Sleep. Cool, thought Kyle. Then Kyle thought, if she's a mind reader, can she read this? What's your name? Ava! Ava Flake! She yelled back. Then Kyle saw that the crab had one big claw and one small claw. One had hideous spikes. The big one had hideous spikes. Here's another little picture. Attached to each claw. The small one, however, had very sharp edges. He didn't want to be killed by either. Then the crab started to do close combat with Kyle and Lime. When the small claws cut his throat, blood leaked from his neck. If he kept fighting, he would end up dead. Then Ava started shooting arrows from her crossbow. The arrows shot through the air at lightning speed. Whiz, whiz! Then she shot 3 at a time. Whiz, whiz, whiz! 2 landed beside the crab, and 1 got her tooth. Ah! She shrieked in pain and retreated to the water. Then the pair went in 2. After about 10 seconds, the crab shot out. The big claw headed towards Kyle. Then he found himself pinned to the sandy shore. Chapter 5, The Attack. How could Kyle escape? The only way to survive was if Ava helped him. Little picture. Warty, warty. Then the claws started closing around him. Whoosh! One of Ava's arrows sped towards the giant claw and pierced the monster's claw. The monster screamed in frustration and fell on her back, her legs kicking in the air. Then he ran to Ava. Look, I've got a plan. Lure her into this hot spring and her claw will burn. Then she'll run to the water and we'll push her in. Okay? Okay, said Kyle. Then he ran towards the crab. She flipped over and roared loudly. The crab ran towards Kyle. Then he jumped on Mime. Go, go, he said, whapping her in the side. She ran fast, but the giant monster scuttled fast. Then she stopped. Kyle knew this wasn't good. Then the beast stabbed her claw into the ground. Her claw shot out, again narrowly missing his leg. Narrowly. Then he leaped over the spring, but instead of the claws going in, the eyes went in. The beast ran to the water and screamed. Then Kyor whammed his arm and shield into the crab. She fell in. Chapter 6. Facing the Mistress. The crab slowly sunk down. Then Kyor realized that the crab would remain evil unless... Kyor snatched an arrow from Ava. "Hey!" screamed Ava. Then he headed to the water and stabbed the tooth that Ava shot. And it came out! Then a hole appeared in his shield. He placed the tooth in and it fitted. Then he came up to breathe. But he saw a cloaked figure standing where the crab stood first. "You may have defeated Kyor, the lightning crab, but you haven't nearly defeated me. No, not yet." The figure held up a see-through hand. "And you only have defeated one of my 5 beasts. And I will do anything, anything, to stop you from collecting the tokens of my sanity." The figure disappeared. He knew this quest was far from over. Get ready for another epic adventure when Kyle faces Yike the Snow Panther.